Welcome to another episode of Ex Tempore, where I bring together some of the players with the audience to discuss what happened in the previous session of ADlib&D, what were the characters thinking at the time, and any other thoughts our valued listeners might have about our game. If you have any questions, do not hesitate to use the Twitch chat to pose them, and I will get to you as many as I can over the course of the session. For this episode, we are discussing the episode 34. Tenant Troubles with Dagobah and Deception. So I might start off with Dagobah. And now this isn't exactly about the episode, this episode, because it happened in episode 33. But since you weren't available that time, I thought I'd throw it out to you now.
No, not going to do it.
So the question I have is, what does Wabani think of the vision presented in his dreams the day before they travelled to Medanio?
This is one of those funny things. You're sitting there, and as the player, you're seeing that this is very story related and what you want to do, and then you're trying to, as the character, where do you want to take this? And of course, you want to be as well affected by the roles and try to take the roles as meaningful and not just go in a direction that I'm going to roleplay this from this very linear point of view. You want to take in the dynamics of what those roles are. So I rolled a couple of crappy things, and so I wasn't 100% sure that this vision was coming from Donaru and that it was tied into my homeland. I was just like, okay, this is a nightmare then. I'm freaked the hell out. So for me, having the visions and not having that warm blanket of security, knowing that this was a Donaru vision, I tried to make it such that it was scary as hell.
Okay. That sounds like an interesting response. With I feel like the behavior of Wabani in the next episode might come to a fore, where the Corduan Brown will be discussing the matter at hand. But anyway,
have to wait and see.
Yeah. So next question is for you, Deception. It seems the party has been away from Medanio for much longer than they first thought. Why do you think this is, and do you think this is an issue?
Time travel. I don't know. It's interesting that they just lost so much time. It was crazy. I can't believe it happened when I was hearing you've been away for a year. It's like, oh. They said they'd only been adventuring a month away from Medanio. That's 3-4 months. That's crazy.
Yeah. Well, and it probably happened before you actually joined the group too.
Yeah, of course it would have happened before I joined the group. Burnt down the house, got in some time warp temple. No. But it's interesting because Azra had no idea of it all. So I think it's very clever and very fun knowing that that can happen, and there might be different times in different dimensions where they might have been, and that might have affected it.
Yes.
And knowing at all where it happened, or if it was at one time or not.
That's right. It could be multiple times that it's happened.
Yeah.
Me as a DM obviously knows exactly what happened, but I'm not going to say it.
You could.
I could.
Mm-hmm. You could.
Speaking of that, question for you now, Wabani or Dagobah. Dwayne seems to be missing now that you're back. Do you think this is a significant thing?
Well, Wabani is just happy as hell he's gone. Wabani didn't like him. He was a competitor for Shifty-Eyed Pete, so that he's gone is a celebration. So why? Very clearly there's something going on again, and we didn't discover that much. And to be honest, while we were in there rifling through his place, I wasn't actually actively trying to aid in any way, because Wabani doesn't like Dwayne. So something's going on, and I think perhaps it might be related to the Thieves Guild, but not sure. So again, we'll have to wait and see.
Oh yeah, it certainly could have been the Hooded Flame.
And it's really Riki who she likes Dwayne, so that to me, that's her plot, that she can take that where she wants to, and I'll just be a stick in the mud.
Cool. Okay, so this one's for you, Deception. This is the first time that, as far as I'm aware at least, that Azrael has visited Medanio. What are his first thoughts on the environment or the characters here?
He doesn't even really know where he is because he was teleported there. So there's no sense of travel. That makes sense. He understands that he has moved a great distance through teleportation magic or whatever it was. He knows it's hotter. knows it's more summery weather because it's like more summery, isn't it? North.
Oh, it's actually the other way around. It's colder.
Okay, so is it a colder summer?
It's considered the northern hemisphere.
Okay, so it's cold so it's colder. But either
It's
way,
a colder, yeah.
Yeah, he can't feel things have really changed because he's got no concept of where he was to where he is. You know, people tell him he's here now. So it's kind of figuring it out. He's smart, not wise.
That's good. Okay.
Yeah.
And he's keeping mum at this point in time.
Yeah, well, that's exactly it. Right now, he's just trying to, be weirded out that he's travelled so far, because his plan was to go north, but didn't expect to get north so quick.
Yeah. Okay, this one's for you, Dagobah. What do you think will be discussed in this meeting?
Well, I think it has... hard to say. I mean, when the letter saying that you'll be visited by a friend, I certainly did not expect the dryad or the wood nymph. So just don't know. And I know Cordwin being involved, I don't know how much he want. I think it's probably related to the black smoke that we've seen. But again, from Wobani's point of view, he was just so exhausted after the hate spell ran out and chasing after Fantier Brown. You know what? It's the Brown Confederation. There's something about the Brown conspiracy. There's just too many Browns. So something about the Browns.
It's almost like the DM is having fun with the word brown.
Yeah, maybe.
Okay. For you, Deception. Actually, what are your impressions of Gordon Fillingsworth? It looked like something went on between him, Lucy, and the Hooded Flame while you were away. Do you think this is of interest or value?
It's Gordon.
Gordon is okay. So Gordon is a character that has travelled with the party a while ago. He was the one that forced the group to head to a fun house, an escape room, which turned out to be a trap set by a assassin for Jace's character.
Oh.
Now, Gordon is the tiefling who was kind of stuck. He owed the Hooded Flame a lot of money, and as a way to pay off his debt, he was used as a lackey to get the characters there.
Yeah.
But the party has taken him on, and I don't know whether they've treated him superbly.
Well, he's forced to make potions.
He's been forced to make potions. He's trying to make do.
Yeah.
And as over the year that the group has been away, he's had to deal with the Hooded Flame because he still owed them money.
Yeah.
Maybe it's more of a question. Well, you go as Deception. I might see what Dagobah's thoughts are on it as well.
Yeah. Well, Azrael didn't know Gordon for long. All he knows is that he owed potions to everyone except Azrael and May, and that he was just kind of living there, not squatting. He had Lucy defending him because, he help as well, and he couldn't make everyone potions. He was just doing his best with, I guess, what he had. He obviously had himself in a shitty situation from everything I just heard. But yeah, sounds like he was doing his best and got bullied a bit by a few of the party.
Yeah,
bullied, not bullied.
Chase bullied him. I remember hearing that he got so intimidated he didn't make any potions.
Well, see, the thing is, now Wobani hates Gordon because Jace hates him, because he did wrong to Jace. So it's not that Wobani knows Gordon at all. It's just that this is just, Jace is a dodgy brother. Gordon did the wrong and is in the wrong, and so it's just hate through association.
Do you think he's making amends at the moment?
Gordon? I'll have to wait and see. I don't know what he did with our pig yet.
That's true. That hasn't come up.
No, and he's in the rooming and boarding at our old place with Lucy. So remains to be seen.
Okay,
Still in the bad book so far.
Speaking of Lucy, what are your thoughts on how she's handled life without the Dodgy brothers?
That's just pure comedy. 7-year-old, 8-year-old now. So
8-year-old becomes
it's just
subletter.
funny how you, yeah. Love what you did with her and just trying to make her into this little debutante, I guess, urchin debutante who just, I guess.
She's very independent.
Well, yeah, she's very independent. She definitely knows how to pull strings.
Yeah. Maybe we can bring her in as a character at some point. We'll see. I'll have to set her up.
Yeah, just get someone in. All right, you're playing this character from now on. Go for it. Or you'll be like, you got to play this NPC Deception. That's one of your new roles.
Try and play Lucy.
Well,
Lucy.
Maybe he'll make you be Gordon.
Now, does anyone have any questions at the moment? Feel free to throw them in the chat window. Otherwise, we'll keep going. Do you have any questions for me, Dagobah?
I do. I wrote some down.
Oh dear, I'm gonna have to come up with something now.
Yep. So, how often are you giving a plot element, and we as our characters are totally missing it?
As in a random concept?
No, not specifically a random concept, because at the end of the day, I don't know if we are focused very much on what are the random concepts, but that you have elements that are related. I guess it could be. This could be something that's tied into a random concept that is tweaking the story in a direction, and ultimately you want us to go left in order to make that element to breathe life into it, but we don't go left, we go right instead. So how often is that happening for you?
I think you've been hitting it pretty well. You've been picking up on my hints, whether consciously or otherwise.
Cool.
So
and that's because you feel that you are pushing hard, or that the method that you're employing in order to bring light to that element is making sure that in some way, in some fashion, we're catching it.
I can't answer that because I don't think I'm objective enough to answer that question. But I use a selection of techniques to try and do that, which seems to work most of the time. And even if you do go off track, which I've noted maybe once or twice, I usually have a method of bringing you back eventually.
Okay, cool.
I mean, a good example would be how you guys dealt with the snowy chalet and the initial assessment. Maybe I got a little bit too much information for you with regards to coming through the dwarf.
Yep.
But I think in general you picked up on most of the clues and found a method to get forward. So that was good. I had contingency plans if you were doing other things, which didn't happen. But yeah. It's always about the contingency plans.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the techniques used.
Yeah. Okay. Any other questions?
I got a couple more.
Okay, one more, and then I'll throw one at Deception.
Okay, one more.
Yep.
How much focus are you putting into tying backstory elements into main plot elements, or do you try connecting them at all?
Oh, I feel like I have tried to incorporate them. I don't know how well I've done, but certainly with Jace's character, I think I've connected that up quite well with his backstory. Certainly going to face Fantir was one of heavy elements in his backstory. So, and that's occurred just recently. And I'm trying to bring in other information. Certainly your backstory might have some more expansion on that. And with Azrael and May, it's a bit tricky at the moment because they've just joined. But I've got plans and ideas for that as well.
Nice. There you go, Deception.
Woo! It's coming.
You've only been with us for what, 3-4 episodes?
Yeah,
I mean,
3-4 episodes.
If you exclude the one shot.
Yeah. Yeah, it's not been long. Azrael's not been with you guys for more than 3 nights in game, if that.
And it's all been about Jace's backstory, hasn't it? It's just he's taking all the spotlight.
Nah,
Let's destroy the arena.
It's his backstory, but he's definitely not taking the spotlight. That's my job.
All right. A question for you, Deception. How did you find playing May's character?
Difficult. Small girl. I can't do a small girl's voice. Like, I was trying to do it today. I'm sitting there like, all right, we'll try and do May's voice, and I was trying to go do just a quiet little Kayla voice. Couldn't do it.
Can you just remind me again? How did it go?
Hello, I am May. That's the best I got. I got nothing. And she's supposed to be joyful and trying to make friends. I'm like, I can't do that. Stop.
So,
Yeah.
I should point out that I think May is unfortunately away for a little while. So Azrael has stepped up to help play her character while she's away. She will be back. In about 3-4 weeks? Do you think?
Yeah, 3 to 4 weeks. She's just her days don't mesh while we're not moved up.
Yeah,
Moving?
but
So, yeah.
that'll align eventually.
Yes.
Okay. Do you want to ask your last question, Wabani, before I move on to the last question for you?
Sure. So we are very clearly heavy roleplay based. So how are you feeling about having to put more effort into your NPC roleplay and their motivations?
No, I've enjoyed it actually. I haven't found it difficult. In some ways, it can be harder, but in other ways, it's actually quite fun and liberating because you're not always interacting with me, and so that gives me a break, and that I really appreciate that.
Yeah, there's a few times where we go on for like a good half hour, I imagine.
And I just sit there and laugh, possibly roll some die.
Possibly roll some die.
Yeah,
but all you see is a shadow.
Yeah. I see the shadow. I'm like, you're doing something. There's something shit. He's killing one of us. It's the only option.
So
that's the beauty of when people are role playing and they're deep into it, and you're like, yeah, just I think you also need to give me a history check on that comment. No, you don't.
That's right. But I mean, it's great. I think we've got a good mix of role play and combat. Certainly, it's probably more heavier role play than I'm used to, but I'm enjoying it. There is a other side of that coin where things can move a little bit slowly if there is a lot more role play and the story sort of gets not necessarily forgotten, but waylaid for a little while. But I try and keep an eye on that and move it forward where possible. Which leads me to my last question. Cordwin Brown was revealed at the end of the last episode. How do you think Wabani will handle this considering his Brown Confederation theories?
I'm not spilling any of the beans on that one. Something's going to happen for sure.
Okay.
And if you are interested in knowing, then you just have to tune in to see. So not going to spill the beans. Could be good, could be bad.
I'll have to be there.
It's like you'll have to be there.
I've been stewing over this. I think my last comment in the episode last week is probably a good indicator.
What was that again?
It was something. You'll have to listen to the podcast.
I will.
Those out there who want to know what it is that I did.
All good. All right. So that'll be fun. Yes. And if we'll just leave it open a little bit longer if anyone wants to ask any questions. But I think it's another good episode. Does any, like Dagobah or Deception, do you have any other questions you want to ask?
You know, I probably could come up with something there for you, Azrael. If you want to ask something, go for it, and then I'll Azrael, Deception, I'll ask you something too.
I don't know. Just trying to absorb everything right now and try and figure out in the world where we are, figure out what's happening. Right now, Azrael's a little lost.
That's all right. Wabani will guide him.
Fog cloud.
Yeah, fog clouds all the way. No difficulty there. Just follow the fog clouds. So, how are you enjoying the heavy role play based and finding and digging out? Like, have you dug out a lot of what your Azrael's motivations are, or are you just kind of letting it roll as it comes to you? You know, this is who you chose, and it's starting to come and fill out more as the sessions continue.
Azrael's pretty freaking easygoing, so it's not too hard to play him. Like, whatever happens, kind of happens. He's happy to go along with things because in the end, it's all about gaining a little bit of knowledge and renown. Either one's fine. Knowledge is more preferable at the moment for him. So the more he can kind of listen and learn, the better for him. And he made a little deal with someone about yogurt, and that was pretty fun. That was fun.
Cool.
Yeah, and
I
the
like
RP. Yeah, sorry.
I like that. It'll be a direction that Shifty-Eyed Pete can go in now.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
I didn't want to abuse Shifty Eye Pete and be like, I want 20%. I was just like, yeah, 10, 15, whatever it was, that's fine.
Yep.
Like, Azra doesn't mind because he's not paying for anything. It's all free at that point.
All of a sudden,
right.
Shifty Eyes lives in a palace.
Becomes the yogurt king. But yeah, I'm fine with the heavy roleplay. I know that they really love the heavy roleplay that we do. I'm happy with more combat, less combat. Doesn't mind. I don't mind at the moment. I'm really enjoying the atmosphere we've got and the group you've got. Trying to learn everything about where you've been and where we're going, which is good.
Hey, Dago, have you liked the fact that I've brought in some old characters back in and to see how that makes things go?
Oh, it's always bringing in characters that have been introduced before, and so that they don't just disappear into the ether, but they have some role in the lives. It's always good to me because that's always makes the world more richer, and it always adds more drama. So yeah, I mean, keep doing shit like that. I think it's fantastic.
Cool.
And then you can make the whole our little stigma about dwarves make that the whole thing, the shindig. That would be funny.
Wait, stigma with dwarves? Do you just hate dwarves? What's going on?
No, well, most dwarves that we've encountered, other than one, have all been zombies of a sort.
That's pretty
Well,
cool.
no, it's a couple of dwarves in the Filthy Pig who run the Filthy Pig. There's
True
those
enough.
ones as well. That was very early on, though.
Yeah.
And then there was the zombie dwarves. I mean, there's not a lot of there's dwarves around in this continent, but most of them reside in their own country to the west.
Oh, I'm just pushing. We're gonna do some discrimination there, and then we're gonna see how that plays out.
Sure. Okay. That's all good. All right. Well, thanks everyone for listening. Remember, we've got our live game this Friday at 8:30. Remember to vote. We've got the button down there that can lead you directly to it. The voting really helps me craft an interesting and unique story. So don't forget to do that. We will be without certainly one player. I feel like we might not have Riki on Friday either due to some issues outside of our control, but we can certainly run with 3. So we'll see everyone then.
See you then.
Have a gooder.